So, welcome back. Quick little break here. And then now we're flying from Akureyri in real time again to the to Vagar. We have some friends joining, as always. Thank you so much for joining. And right now, I'm still having an issue though regarding the departure route. I have a feeling that I'm going to have to refile the flight plan because the departure that I've chosen is actually to the north, but we have so much wind from the south that we can't take that. So I'm just going to have a look at the departure routes available. Ja, guys, I'm going to refile to the Jari 1 Delta. James, moin, wie geht's gut, wie geht's dir? Yeah, we're going to refile. So I'll take the Jari 1 Delta, Jari, and then we'll take 64 north, 14 west, I think it is. Yeah. Otherwise, we take Jari 1 Delta, Jari, Bruzy, Larux. Yeah, that's the one we'll take. That's the one we'll take. Airbus, hey, Airbus, oh no, you must be missing World Update 50, no scenery for BR. I have a payware scenery. So, so in case you do want to join, this is the routing I'm going to take now. So I'm just going to pre-file that again. Just going to disconnect quickly from VATSIM. Level 370 file. And then I'll reconnect. There we go. Which means, however, I am going to have to do this again. Do the init again here. Brenold, are you still online, Brenold? Because you asked a question, a good question. And if you're here, I'll answer that again. I'm not sure if you read the answer or not. Let's do init. Let's do the init again here. Yeah, so Jari, Bruzy, Larux, and then what will depart is the 19, and that was the just do that again. So let me just try that again. So we have Jari 1 Delta departure. Yeah, Jari 1 Delta. Hopefully that works. And then Vagar, we're going to fly the localizer 1-2. Approach via Mike Yankee. So that's the routing, Mike Yankee. Total mileage 400 miles, 382. That looks good. And let's check the departure route real quickly. So Navigraph. So we have the Jari 1 Delta. James, at the moment it's a 787 777, but I have flown 737, 747 and A320 as well. Right, so this is the departure route. GNSS required. Charlie aircraft is good. 250 below level 100. And we have to fly 186 to Alpha Romeo 431. Then 432 max 205. Then 433 max 230, 5,000 above. And then we go 436 and Jari. So there's a couple of restrictions we have to follow. 432, 436, Jari. Let me just pop that out. Let's just have a look here quickly. Just make sure we have the correct. So 431, 432, 205 knots, correct. Then we have 433, max 230, 5,000 above, correct. 436 is 7,000 above, correct. And then Jari. Transition is in 7,000 feet. 7,000 it is. Right, that's all correct. No, so I can show you quickly. Look at the general options because people have been asking. I am using frame generation. So that's what's confusing people, right? So I'm using the NVIDIA DLSS frame generation. However, for anti-aliasing, I'm not using DLSS. So I'm still using TAA, okay? So that's a slight difference. Now I'm using VSync through the external Riva tuner statistics server, which for some reason is giving me much better and smoother frames. So that's what I found today. It's a very nice, smooth 60 FPS, half VSync on my monitor. So very nice indeed. Yeah, so DLSS for me has caused issues regarding crash to desktops. So I haven't been using DLSS 4, unfortunately. Now settings, let's go brightness here. Contrast is good, but brightness, turn brightness down a bit. There we go, that's better. Good, flight plan. So, yeah, so that's a new flight plan. Fantastic. Flight time should be the same, about an hour. Yeah, hour 2 minutes. For the weather, Holger, moin moin. For the weather, Holger, are you enjoying the flight? Let me just check. Yeah, we still have Condor, we've got Lufthansa, and we've got a Condor there as well. So, fantastic. Here we got 180.28, still lots southerly winds, very strong, so we have to depart out of 19 for sure. That's just too much tailwind for the other runway. Then we've got Vagar 250 at 5, no cloud, 3 degrees, 1039. Beautiful high pressure. So not too challenging today, luckily. And the alternate Bergen has Cabo K as well, 02 degrees, 1044. Also very nice weather there. Very beautiful. Really cool. Alternate fuel required today is 3.1. So we've done that in it. Right, let me quickly do instant fueling and so that we get going. So we're departing in 10 minutes, so that sounds good. 8.8 tons required. Inserted. Misa, hello to you. Holger, I'm happy to hear that you're learning. Good, good, good. Thank you so much. Right, 65.4 instant request. Does the FSLabs use a lot of VRAM? Let me just check. So VRAM. Let me just get the task manager. Details? No. Performance. There we go. Performance. And we have GPU. So currently I'm using 16.8 GPU memory. I don't have a direct comparison now with the Phoenix, unfortunately, but I'm using DX12, which does cause a high VRAM usage. So I'm not sure what the difference is between the Phoenix and the FSLabs. I don't know, honestly. Hey, Manflex SRS, welcome back. Oh no, you're joking. Elmo Ryder is also flying to Vagar? Lol. Well, they're supposed to have an event today, Iceland, but I've seen that Keflavik has logged off. There's no controllers online, which is really, really sad, because they had a VATSIM Fire and Ice event on today. So 65.4, 27.7. Let's just check that. 65.4, 27.7. That's all correct. Fantastic. So, Depechi, what you mean? It's still like 6 hours away. Yeah, 6 hours until the Super Bowl. Come on. Give them a break. They announced it. So we have 0 fuel at 65.4, that's good. CG for takeoff 25.2, 27.7, that's all correct. Fantastic. Got to get the business. Yeah, all right. Right, guys, so remember, guys, we had the brake fans on due to our technical issue with the brake indication or brake temperature indication on the number 4 brake assembly. And we dispatched with the MAL accordingly. So we have to wait another 10 minutes until we can depart to cool the brakes. And in the meantime, let me check the departure route. Initial climb. Initial climb, 7,000 above. So usually that's given by ATC. So let's go 7,000 initially then. Flight director's on. Brake fan remains running. We can do seatbelts on. That's fine. Oh, let's leave that on for now. Good. So init A page is filled out. Let's do the wind request. That's something that's missing. Depechi, you have a question. Does it often happen IRL? Do you have to delay a flight due to not enough air traffic controls working? So, yeah, Depechi. Yeah, you get slot times in Europe in that case. I remember that when I was on short range 2 years ago, we had the Warsaw sector. So Poland sector was a bit problematic. And then we also had Spain sometimes, and France, obviously, with the capacity issues. How's the weather in Germany today? It's not bad. It's cold but dry. So, not bad at all. Yeah, yesterday in northern France, yeah. Again, I mean, you have shortages, so worker shortages everywhere, really, right? So, you know, I'm not surprised. Although, I mean, if you think about it, we have, you know, pilots and air traffic controllers being, you know, some of the best paid jobs out there. And yet, there's not enough applicants at the moment. I know from a good friend who's an air traffic controller, they are not getting enough applicants. Yeah, hey Ben. So let's have a look. Cruise wind is in this time. Oh, actually, this is no, just climb and descent winds. It's a short routing, so cool. Init A page, B page, RATNAV. Do we need anything here? RATNAV, not really. RNP departure. Secondary copy active, and then we'll use the performance calculations now. So let's go with that. Germany also has understaffed, yeah. Hamburg, Frankfurt, yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. Like I said, It happens literally everywhere in Europe. I'm going to put engine anti-ice on, air conditioning on as well. We have dry runway, 74.2 for the takeoff weight. That should be correct. Yeah, and then we had 3 tons alternate fuel. Yeah, 74 looks good. So that looks good. 19 for departure, headwind component. Let's calculate that. It now requests us with a config 2 flex 42 and those speeds. Field length limited. So performance, we'll uplink that. So then engine out acceleration is 1600. I'm going to leave, you know what, I'm going to go with an NADP 1 so that we climb up faster. High terrain, let's do that. And then we're good to go. So A321 Sharklet CFM engines. Technical issue is the brake temperature indication number 4. So we're waiting another 6 minutes until we're able to depart. Otherwise, no big issues. We have departure route, the Jari 1 Delta, briefed it, climbing 7,000 according to the waypoints. MSA is 6,600, so high terrain around us. So we're going to climb up quickly. And extra fuel is about 20 minutes, I think. For alternate Bergen, 20 minutes extra fuel. Special threats, yeah, threats high terrain. It's getting dark. Otherwise, all good. Vagar has a cloud brake procedure chart, okay.
A gift from me to you.
Lewis!
Enjoy the gifted sub.
Lewis, thank you so much. Oh my god. Thanks for the 5 gifted. Lewis, vielen Dank. And those that just been gifted. So Chechi, Yaretz, Let's Play, Kilo Skies, and Vinny, please say a big thank you to Lewis Daniel. Thank you very much for that. That's really kind. Thank you so much, Lewis. And all the best wishes, once again. All the best wishes for you. Nice to have you here. Right, cloud brake chart. Let's just have a look. Vagar. So Vagar, is that under the approach charts then? Or oh yeah, there we go. Cloud brake. Oh, this one here. Okay, that's like a visual approach. Yeah, but maybe nighttime is not the best idea to do this approach, to be honest. So we are expecting the wind. What was the wind again? The wind was at 250 at 5. So that's pretty much crosswind, isn't it? But that does speak for the 3-0 approach. So we can do ILS, and I think today ILS will be a good idea. So let's see, if we want to do that from Mike Yankee, that will be a Zulu approach. Let's just have a look again at the star. Oh, there's no stars. Well, that's interesting. So Magni. Yeah, maybe we're going to get direct Magni later on. I'm going to leave that in with Mike Yankee, and then we can try the ILS Zulu. Standard approach. And Ombra, hello. Well, probably because getting an HP output has the most. Yeah, I mean, exactly what I'm saying. So Ombra, my thoughts exactly. So let's take Zulu, wasn't it? We'll take Mike Yankee 1, insert. Yeah, so, you know, if you don't get enough pilots or enough people to join your company, then yeah, you have to change something with the conditions, right? Entry conditions. So, yeah, so Revi, usually you would have to speak German. Yeah, I agree with that. Although, I know that right now, and that's the weird thing. So I know, for example, Lufthansa City Airlines, the new airline just opened up in the Lufthansa group, they don't require you to speak German. So it's not necessary regarding being a pilot. Not always necessary.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box.
Hey, Lewis, okay, thanks so much.
Experience.
You're following me since 2017. That's a long time indeed, yeah.
Class cabin, where complimentary drinks,
my pleasure, Lewis.
Premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
And 226 Enforcement, thank you much for the 4 months. Thanks for the support. Hope you're doing well. In-flight deck, any tips for A320 pilot about to start? Hey, well, I mean, I was a 320 pilot, and I started on the 787. So, I can give you some tips. First of all, first tip, first question though, in-flight deck, have you ever flown a Boeing aircraft? And that's the first question. Yeah, I know some of those as well. Yeah, they're lovely guys. They're so funny. Things seem to be unnecessary fuel burn due to Mach number instead of true airspeed in the ocean area. It says Mach 0.76. Yeah, it could be. On a 320 Airbus, that's normal. Yeah. Okay, so if you haven't had a contact yet with with any Boeing aircraft, so the first thing you have to realize and just accept, Boeing does things differently. Okay, forget about wordings that you had on Airbus. All right, get used to different philosophies regarding the autopilot system, regarding the FMS. It is what it is, okay? Just open your mind. Don't compare, okay? Don't think, oh, Airbus is so much better. Yeah, in some areas, yes. In some areas, no. It's just different, okay? Now, the 777 is also a fly-by-wire aircraft, same as the 787. So, one thing you realize is that hand flying, it's going to be a bit different regarding, especially when you do have speed changes, right? Because it's trimming to a reference speed. That's the only thing really that catches you out if you're in a bank and your speed is reducing or increasing, right? Then you're going to find that those will climb or, you're going to climb or descend depending on which way the speed is going. But, so it's going to be a bit of a different cross-check, but trust me, you get used to it very quickly. I've had so the colleague I was transferring with on the 787, he was a pure Airbus flyer. He's been flying Airbus for 25 years. Never had contact with Boeing, and he managed quite nicely. He was getting upset a few times, but that was to be expected. But yeah, he just went along with it, and yeah, he learned no problem. So don't worry about it. It's not going to hurt too much. Yeah, don't. Yeah, that's one thing I hear often. Just don't. Forget about the Airbus, okay? They are different in design and different in concept. It's just the way it is. But if you just put that aside, just open your mind to a new experience. Trust me, the 777 is a beautiful aircraft to fly. And so you will enjoy it 100%. And don't worry too much. Boeing is not that complicated. It's not. Oh yeah, another thing. One more thing I can think of right now. You know that Airbus does things very strictly regarding the ECAM, right? So if you have an abnormal or maybe 2 or 3 abnormals at the same time, it will prioritize for you, okay? So I know that Airbus pilots, because I've been one, have a very strict thinking regarding ECAM. Like you follow that religiously, okay? In the 777, you also have electronic checklists. However, if you have multiple failures or multiple failed systems, you're going to have a list of abnormals, and then sometimes you have to prioritize yourself. So you have to think and come to a conclusion on what the most pressing item is, A, and B, whether or not certain failed systems are kind of secondary failures due to another system failing. Okay, so that also takes some time to get used to. Finding the courage to not always go for the first item on the list. All right, you have to look at the whole list of items of the checklist being on offer, and then think about what makes most sense now. Well, Voyager, that used to be true, but the thing is, I can especially say with the 787, the 787 is also a computer. There's just so many computers, parts on the 787. It is a true electronic aircraft, just like the Airbus. Cool, guys. We've got the 35 minutes. Let's go and start the engines. Yeah. So in flight deck, my pleasure and all the best wishes. Maybe one day you could pop in again. Let me know how you are getting on. I would be very interested to hear how you are doing. Right, let's read the checklist. Let's go for the cockpit preparation checklist. Gear pins covers removed. Fuel quantity 8,760 kilograms balanced. We have seatbelts on. ADIRs. NAF. And the BIAR 1021 is set. Let's check that again. Yeah, 1021 is still current. Fantastic. And then actually, let's read the before start checklist. Before start, parking brake is set. We have takeoff speeds. Thrust 137, 140, 142, flex 42. Windows, doors closed. Beacon is on, and that's the before start checklist complete. Engine start. Fuel pumps are on, bleeders on, good pressure. Starting engine 1. IRL, how do you know when to do a toga versus flex takeoff? No, so James, there are strict procedures for that. And normally, since we do care about flying in the most efficient manner, we have our takeoff calculator. Just like here in the Phoenix or the FSLabs, you have a takeoff calculator. So usually you would always take whatever it gives you. Now, there are some exceptions. For example, when you have expected wind shear, right, then you could think about making a toga power takeoff. All right, good start. Starting engine 2. But otherwise, it will always be like flex takeoff. That's a good engine start. Flaps 2. APU. Flight controls. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Trim up 0.9 this time. So let's do the after start checklist. Anti-ice currently off. Ecam status checked. Pitch trim up 0.9. Rudder trim neutral. After start checklist complete. Right. Can I make a turn to the left or right? Better to the right. Now, I am going to go slew myself just a tad back. And then Akureyri traffic. Windmill 712 is lining up, backtracking 19 in Akureyri.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's normal procedures in the hours of darkness to dim the cabin lights. You'll find a reading light in the panel above your head, should you wish.
Just get TCAS on to make sure there's nobody in the approach. Nobody there.
Akureyri traffic window 6-9er, Hotbox 1 night arrival inbound over Romeo 70.
Okay, so somebody's inbound. Heard sounded like another windmill aircraft inbound. So, cabin is ready. Oh, yeah, it was ready, wasn't it? And so we have the taxi checklist. Taxi checklist, flight controls checked. Flap setting config 2. Radar PWS is on and auto. Engine mode selector normal. EKVG mode takeoff. No blue. Liner checklist. Cabin crew prepare for departure. Gotta hurry up here. TCAS is TAR, APACs are both on, and that's the lineup checklist complete as well. Right. I'll tell you that in a second. Let me just take off here. And Akureyri traffic, Windmill 712 is taking off runway 19 in Akureyri. Takeoff. Manflex 42. Come on, there we go. And we have thrust set. 100 knots checked. V1, rotate. Pause, right. Gear up. Enough. Beautiful. A lot lot of wind. Look at that. Thrust climb, SRS, climb blue, auto thrust.
Traffic on the 52 Yankee entering and backtracking on the
Uh-oh. Traffic on final.
Oh, I'm sorry, Patrick.
Yeah, there we go. So the acceleration will come in 3,050 feet. There is climb out blue. Autopilot. Has he disconnected now? Flaps 1, speed's checked. Flaps 1.
Akureyri traffic for Condor 1111 for Lufthansa. If you could taxi a bit forward, we can make space for incoming aircraft. Condor 5 Yankee backtracking on the runway.
Right, flap 0, speed check, flap 0. Forward pressure stats, you do takeoff roll, done at 80, yeah. Yeah, you would normally relax that gently until you have 100. I guess I'm distracted looking at other things on takeoff here in the sim. So, but yeah, normally 80 knots and then you just gradually release the forward pressure until 100 knots, yeah, that's best. Another question was, predictor wind shear. Yeah, so normally if you leave the predictor wind shear system off, I don't get the in amber, I get it in green. It just tells you that you should have, for operational reasons, you should have the PWS here on. If it's an amber, then it's broken. That's failed.
This is minor RMC Yankee approach runway 19er 10 miles for touchdown.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Do you get it in amber? Takeoff config? I would have to check that. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. If it's in amber, then... Man, it is bumpy. Look at that. 46 knots of wind coming across these mountains. Yeah, of course it will be bumpy. All right, let's continue our climb. Hey, Ben. So it's amber if you take off config on the Phoenix at least. Okay. Yeah, so if it's an amber... So maybe that's what he was referring to. If it's an amber, you forgot to put the PWS2 on. That's the reason. Let's put the lights to dim. It's getting really dark now. James, no, we're flying one engine out. It's our virtual airline call sign. So the idea is I'm not using any liveries because what I want to do is I want to fly as many sectors as possible with this single airframe because I'm interested to see how the fault history evolves. So how many faults we get. And you can see we already had a couple here. And so right now we should be on leg number 11. I think one of the legs or two hasn't registered, but you can see that we flew. That's a shame. It didn't register, maybe because I didn't restart the livery. I'm not sure. It didn't register the flight to Akureyri. kind of shame. Yeah, but anyways, it's persistent regarding the technical status. And since I have random failures active, it's going to be interesting to see, you know, if we get a failure at some point and what kind of failure it is. Right, is it just... We're going to wait a few more seconds regarding seatbelts. It's still bumpy. Radar-wise, radar more towards the south. Some weather, but otherwise we're clear. That looks good. 7,000 above, that's good. Alright, let's go secondary copy active. Fix info is clear, rat nav is clear. Let's do seatbelts on. That's fine. All smooth. There we go. It's now cleared, fantastic. It will update the logbook next time you start the sim. Oh, okay, cool, cool. Yeah, hopefully it will then register both flights, hopefully. I'm not sure if that's the case, but...
Oh, roger that, no problem.
Yeah, you can see a lot of weather to the west of us. So Keflavik would be pretty bad as well. Vagar looks okay, looks fine. So nice high pressure area. Nothing to worry about. And flight time is not that long. Like I said, about an hour flight time. 55 minutes to go. Fantastic. So I think for the next couple of flights, as we progress on the European tour, we're going to go from Vagar. I think we're going to go back to Scotland, maybe Glasgow. Then we'll head down to... Although we could go to Dublin. Yeah, let's go Dublin next. Dublin. Or, no, this route. No, we're going to go... I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to go Glasgow, Heathrow, Paris, and I'm going to go to Santiago, somewhere here maybe. That's an interesting approach. Then we're going to go to Lisbon. Yeah, anyways. So, roughly speaking, so what I want to do is then go... maybe Madeira. We want to go to Gibraltar for sure. Yeah, and then we're going to go more eastbound towards the eastern side of Europe and then back north again. Wow, that's gotten dark. Blimey. Now, hopefully, we will get some northern lights today. Keeping fingers crossed. Now, it looks like we're going to be entering clouds. We've got +1 TAT and -18 still, so let's do engine anti-ice on here. And then also, we've got to make sure that we look at the icing pin indicator there. If we see any ice on that, we have to switch on the wing anti-ice. Hey Ghost, going well, thanks for asking. Right, oh, there's an aircraft descending. 10 miles. Ooh. Right, I'm gonna go left here. There's the aircraft. I just saw that. I thought, there's no ATC here. I'm climbing, he's descending. So remember, guys, I said if the other aircraft has a relative...
Traffic.
Yeah, you see? I knew it. So as long as it has a relative bearing on your windshield, you're not going to hit it. And there we go. So TCAS IF control would have been the wording. There he is behind me. That would have been close, you know, if we had stayed on direct course, direct path, that could have been very close, yeah. What if it hits your wing? No, like I said, it's not that close. Blue Sky Travel says you're planning for a tour, a world tour. Nice. Hey, Alex. That was not you, Alex, was it? Hope not. And Nicolas, guten Abend. That wasn't you, Alex. Okay, then I'm glad. Yeah, Ghost, because on Wednesday we're doing a German live stream. So that is intended. Yeah, so Wednesday is definitely a German language live stream. And then Friday we'll have the next normal one. And then Monday next after that. Oh, 09. Hey, Mark. Unfortunately, you speak unfluent German. Yeah, well, so Ghost, I'm sorry. Yeah, the thing is, I do get quite a number of requests for German live streams, so I thought I would comply. So back nav. Let's re-intercept our original routing here. I am German, yeah. I am German, yeah. Yeah, Mark, the problem is, I think, it doesn't work in live streams, does it? It works in the saved videos, but not in the live stream, does it? Yeah, Alex, that's true. That is true. But maybe someone knows in live stream. So the live stream on YouTube doesn't translate real time. Ravi, yeah, thanks for the flowers. But yeah, sometimes I do struggle trying to find some words, but I try my best. There's a Twitch capture for all live streams, Icebird says. Is there a Twitch cap? Okay, so how does that work then? Let me just try to find out. Twitch, because that will be interesting. Twitch capture. No, capture something different, right? Twitch translator or something. Translator. No, so it says Twitch doesn't have such a function, but YouTube has. So if you're using Chrome, there's a Chrome real-time video and audio translation. When will you do Lufthansa ops? Well, I have a feeling we've got icing. No joke, because we are really struggling to climb. What's the what's flashlight again? Oh, we do have icing, don't we? What was Alt L or something? Yeah, I think there is ice on there. Hang on, what's flashlight? MSFS2020 flashlight. It's just L key? Oh, hang on. No, not L key. Alt L. So left Alt L. Ah, there we go. Look. Although I don't really see ice on there. Thanks, Lewis. Hey, Aviamar, moin moin. Right, so if it's minus 40 SAT below, then we can switch off the engine anti-ice, but I'm going to leave that running for now. We're still in and out of clouds, it seems. Yeah, now we're in clouds. So we better watch the icing indicator there. Just make sure that we don't hit ice. Bilichu, got asked this already, but do you like the FSLabs more than the Phoenix? I honestly think both are great add-ons. What I like here in the FSLabs is just, you know, the features with the tech logbook. It's just for me as a real-world pilot, you know, there's more topics that I could talk about. So, for example, today I demonstrated how this little failure, a brake temperature indication, actually causes quite a interesting procedure that you have to follow. Right? And you know, these items are persistent, so they will follow you around unless you actually get maintenance action. You can get maintenance action anytime if you want on the ground. But again, you know, you don't always have maintenance around to fix those issues. All right, so yeah, we went with that MEL item, looked into the procedure for us. I had to go into the table here to get the energy being taken up by the brakes, and then we go and have a look regarding the amount of energy that we took on, how much cooling time it needs on the ground. Yeah, and also, I mean, I started streaming with the FSLabs a long time ago in FSX, so yeah, I'm used to the FSLabs. That's why. Pixelated? No, I've not lost a single frame today, not dropped a single frame, so it should be good. Should all be fine. Right, minus 42 SAT, so we should be good now. Switch off the engine anti-ice as well. There should not be any icing risk anymore. Let's hope Microsoft knows that as well. So I've heard a lot of people say that since they already have, let's say you have the Phoenix A321, they said they're going to wait for the Neo 321 FSLabs. Maybe then they will consider it. Does this plane have anti-ice? Yes, it does. And actually, icing does affect the aircraft. So you've got to be careful regarding engine icing and airframe icing. Voyager, really? Doing long range to Joburg today? GG's. Yeah, Belichu, I fully understand. Of course. And that's it's sort of, I can't answer the question, you know, if it's worth getting or not. I mean, I don't know what your preferences are and, you know, how much you care for certain certain simulation aspects. So I can only demonstrate things, and then you're grown up enough to make up your own mind. Yeah, so MT, the thing is, I agree. It sometimes is a bit tiring regarding getting asked what is better. It's so difficult to answer, again, because so many people have different expectations regarding add-ons. For example, some really care about textures. Others care really about sounds. Others care more deeply about system simulation, etc., etc. So it's difficult to answer these kinds of questions, right? Yeah, Belicho, that's probably better, yeah. Hey, Noob for Lunch, pretty new student hoping to be flying turbine jet someday. Yeah, all the best wishes for that. All the best wishes. Right now, so even though I sometimes voice my concern regarding the future of the airline pilot job because of AI and, and developments in aviation. A bit heavy for 370. Let's go 350 initially. But I would definitely say right now, assuming that there's no big economical turmoil, then right now is a good time to become an airline pilot. Prospects are fantastic. Lots of pilots being needed, being hired over the next 10 years at least. And then but I think, my word of caution regarding just to be aware that the job per se will change. Here's 350 out blue. Is, I think, a fair call. So just be aware that your job environment might change to a certain degree in your career. I mean, but that's a risk you have everywhere, right? Yeah, so Nicolas, this is actually a very simple way of checking for icing. And this is actually how it's done IRL. I'm not joking. I'm not pulling the leg. So there's two options. Either you have a icing probe that detects ice accretion on the aircraft, but rarely you have Airbus 320s that have that system. So this icing pin indicator is the only means really to detect ice forming on the airframe. And just like IRL, this pin has a light inside. So there's a light switch on top here. It's called the compass and standby. So icing indicator and standby compass light. So if I take the compass out, all right, you see this switch lights up the compass, the standby compass, and also lights up the icing probe. Now, just like here in the real aircraft, this does literally nothing. So if it's dark, you can't really see if you have ice on the probe or not with this. So the pilots will pull out the flashlight and shine light on the indicator, just like I'm doing now. Just like this. This is how we do that IRL, right? To see. So the assumption is that if you have ice accumulating here on the pin, right, it's a leading edge if you like, then you can assume that you have icing on the leading edges of the wing as well. And then you would switch on the wing anti-ice. That's the idea behind it. Hey, Flight Sim Club. Will you try the Bluebird 757? I'm going to have a look and see what it offers. And if I think it's worth my time, then probably yes. MT, no worries. Yeah, all good, no worries. How does anti-ice affect performance? So you mean like for the systems? So let me show you here on the bleed page. So we know that the engine anti-ice, if you switch the engine anti-ice on, it takes bleed within the engine. So it takes bleed air, hot bleed air from the, I think it's the high pressure stage, and directs it straight into the engine cowling. Right, so the front part of the engine. So this one, the silvery part of the engine, if you like. So this one internally, this part is then heated to avoid ice accumulating in the front. So if ice accumulates on the front, potentially it could break off. If it's, it forms a larger kind of ice block and then breaks off, then it could potentially damage the engine. Okay, so that's why you have engine anti-ice. Now the wing anti-ice. So here on the A320, only slats 3, 4, and 5 are being heated. So the slat 1 and 2 are not heated. Why is that? Because the wing root area here, so the thickness of the wing here is big enough to not pose a risk for your lift. Right, so the lift is disturbed a lot greater by icing on these parts of the slat. So the wing root, so the wing area here is a lot thinner, causing a lot more issues with ice accretion here with regards to the lift. So that's why only these outer parts are heated. But yes, so if you take out bleed air from the compressor, right? Here we go. That's indication for the anti-ice being on now, the wing anti-ice. So to get the same amount of thrust, you have to add more fuel, increase the RPM of the engine to not have a big thrust loss. Okay. Nate, on the A320, yes. It depends on the engine or the aircraft type. So on the 787, I can tell you that the engine actually does use bleed air from the compressor to anti-ice. However, the leading edges of the wings, they are heated electrically on the 787. So it's a little bit different concept. Is that also the reason why pilots do pack off takeoffs at... Yes, Nicolas. So so if you switch the packs off for takeoff, obviously then you don't extract bleed air from the compressor. So the bleed air then, right, here's the compressor. So the bleed air would normally be extracted at 2 stages of the compressor. So at the lower stage and at the higher pressure stage. And so if you don't extract air from this part, the engine is more efficient, right? Regarding the compression of the amount of air it needs to reach a certain thrust level. Also, what you will notice on some engines, if you are in the approach, let's say, and you extend, I'm not sure if it has to do with flaps extended or if it's it has to do with a certain altitude, but if you switch on the engine and or wing anti-ice, you will have an increase in idle power. You will see that, for example, on the ground, on the A320. Try it out. If you switch on the engine anti-ice on the ground, you will see the idle N1 increase. And that is just to make sure that the bleed air, so that the airflow is enough to deal with that increased bleed air demand from the engine. Yeah, Nate, pleasure. As always, I'm always happy for the questions. Guys, if it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. So, if you have good questions, then I'm always happy to answer. And as we've seen, we've got really knowledgeable people here. So initially, what I was thinking about the load reduction device that Mentor
Good
Pilot
news,
talked about.
subscribers, please make your way to the
Yeah, so
first
some
class
assumptions that I had initially
where
were wrong.
complimentary drinks, snacks, and premium flight
And so we had people here in
entertainment
the
will be served.
chat
Thank
that
you.
actually are engineers or mechanics, and so they actually told me, no, that you got it wrong. So it's this and this. I'm always happy to hear that be corrected and learn more about these things. ProSource, nice to see, and that's 24 months, 2 years. That's worth a big round of applause. ProSource, thank you so much for the 24. Hope you're doing well. Also, another very good question. I know it's confusing for people, right? Because, aviation sometimes is complicated. So you have different definitions, right? So you have OAT, standing for outside air temperature. So literally is if you go outside with a thermometer and get an accurate temperature reading, that would be your OAT, so your outside air temperature. And so that can be measured, okay? Now, that's all fine if you're standing still. Now, if you are flying through the air at Mach 0.75, so 75% of speed of sound, you are dealing with different issues, right? Air that's being compressed as you fly along, friction. And so right now you just can't stick out a probe somewhere and measure the outside air temperature. That doesn't work. Okay, so what you have is quite often you will have a TAT probe somewhere. Sometimes it's in the engine inlet. Sometimes it's outside. So here, for example, there's a probe here. I'm not sure if you can see that well. But here, that looks like... Now, during daytime, have a look at this probe here. So these are the pitot probes for the airspeed measurement. That's a static port also for altitude and for the speed calculations. And this thing here on both sides is the TAT, the total air temperature probe. So it's aspirated, meaning it's using an airflow to drag air in and to measure... Hang on, this doesn't work outside, does it? No, it doesn't work outside. So that way, it can measure the field temperature. So the temperature you would feel if you stick out your hand right now. Right, so what you would feel is a temperature of minus 38 degrees Celsius. And that's TAT, that's total air temperature. The problem is, so this can be used, and it's important to know this value for certain things like engine thrust, so engine fuel flow calculations, engine parameters. So the FADEC, so the full authority digital engine control, will take that value and then adjust power settings accordingly. Okay, so it's really important to have a total air temperature probe. The problem is right now you do not have an ability to measure the outside air temperature correctly. All right, so the only thing you can do is measure the total air temperature, so from the moving air, the temperature, and then calculate via some formula, calculate the static air temperature. So they're not calling it outside air temperature. I mean, they could, but that would be misleading because maybe then people think it's actually measured. It's not. So the SAT, the static air temperature, is calculated, derived by the TAT, and takes into account things like Mach number or airspeed, altitude, you name it. I don't know the exact values. So the SAT is literally the outside air temperature right now. But again, it's not measured, it's calculated. What's the point? Speed, altitude, where TAT is becoming not correct. Well, yeah, I mean, That's always an issue, isn't it? So if the total air temperature probe fails or gets wrong information, you're going to get wrong temperature calculations. So here, for example, you would get wrong performance values for sure. So the engine itself, I'm pretty sure the engine has some other probes in here. I know the IE engine have it at least. So, you know, to measure the total air temperature or the temperature values, it needs to calculate thrust values and fuel flow values and so on. Why is the TAT warmer? Okay, good question. That is because we're moving through the air. So the compression of the air and the friction of the air causes that temperature to be higher. So again, it's a temperature you would feel. So if you were able to stick out your hand right now into the airstream, you would feel the temperature of minus 37 degrees Celsius. Right? If you stop the aircraft, which is a bad idea right now, okay? Just saying. But if you went to zero airspeed right now, the TAT would become minus 62, theoretically. Okay. Okay, so you're far behind SFO. Okay, no worries. All good. Maybe we have holding anyway because a lot of traffic inbound to Vagar apparently. Hey, Snark asked if a bleed air valve gets stuck during flight, does that have a significant impact on fuel calculations? Well, I mean, I know, so just as a reference, I know that we can fly with a stuck engine anti-ice valve. And there are, let's see if I can find a mail item in here, which would be very handy. Let's have a look. I'm not sure if they simulate this, but I know IRL, there is something. Ice and rain protection. No, so they don't. Unfortunately, I guess that would be a bit too complicated to cover that as well here. Windshield heating, wipers. No, they don't have that in here. Oh, actually, hang on. It's bleed. Disregard. It's bleed air maybe. Bleed pneumatics. Maybe that's here. Leak detection. Leak. Information systems. Nope. Nope. No, I didn't have that. So what you do have is you do have some performance takeoff, landing performance penalties, and also fuel flow penalties. So you have to take these into account. So you have to take them into account. Just an example, if we go into our performance calculator for takeoff, if you go and, all right, so I don't have failures in here, unfortunately. So, I'm pretty sure we had that in the P3D version, didn't we? I know the Phoenix has it. Yeah. Anyways, but normally we would have the option to select these inoperative items, and that way we would get the performance calculations correct. But for the fuel flow, so let's say engine anti-ice blocked and open, you would have a penalty of 1.5% or something of trip fuel. Then you would add that on top during the flight planning. Oh, that's true. Vagar is AFIS only. You're right. So what's ESA used for? Is it temperature in ESA conditions? So here's the. It's a deviation indication, right? So what you see here, so in the standard atmospheric temperature distribution, we would have minus 55 degrees up here, okay? So because the SAT is calculated at minus 61 at this altitude, it's 6 degrees colder than ESA. So that does have implications then for performance. I mean, it's colder, so it's not really a penalty for us today, right? If it was like 10 degrees warmer than ESA, then we would probably have a penalty impact on the optimum and max flight levels, etc. But ESA is for us, it's more a good to know as a reference. But we have these calculations here anyways in the FMS. So the FMS gets the values, it will calculate accordingly. So no, so James, I mean, there are limitations for wing anti-ice on the ground, and that's why on the ground you cannot switch on wing anti-ice. Well, you can, but it only does a 30-second test run. So after 30 seconds, even with the switch being on, the valve will close after 30 seconds because of overheating. So as long as you have an airflow over the wing, so in flight, there should be no restrictions regarding wing anti-ice. The same goes for engine anti-ice. Although engine anti-ice can be used on the ground, but again, only up to plus 10 degrees Celsius. Right, coming to Larux. Gonna get the weather. Why is wing anti-ice important for V-speed? Is it? I would only assume if you have icing conditions, it's important. But if you have wing anti-ice on, does that increase V-speeds? Yeah, that's something different. Yeah, icing speed is something different. So some aircraft like the ATR, they have additionals when you have suspected icing conditions. No, Niklas, it does not. So here, even if you dial in a lower altitude, if you reach your top descent, it does not automatically start descent like the Boeing aircraft. Boeing, if you're in VNAV, then it will automatically start its descent. Airbus does not. You always have to give it either open descent or managed descent or vertical speed to get it down. Ice protection. Okay, let me just have a look quickly. Documents. Yeah, but ice and rain. I did have a look at ice and rain already. It wasn't in here. And I don't see anything else. No. I could search, but I think let me just quickly do this. So 70.8 is expected landing weight, calm, plus 3 degrees. We'll do reverser all, engine anti-ice on, and calculate. Just make sure that we have enough landing distance available. We need medium. And we're pretty close. Well, actually, that's like not really legal, but 5 meters. Right, because we're in flight sims. So we'll definitely take order medium. Not much time to flare today. Would it be possible to create an altitude on the top of the descent and give it unconstrained? No. Again, the Airbus, you always have to force the Airbus into a descent. It will not, even if you put a waypoint there, it will not descend automatically. You always have to use a mode to descend it. So find and document wing. Oh, what was that now? What did I do? Right. descent. I pressed the alt button here, so alt descent. Right, I did something. Something clacked. I don't know what it was. Press W. Find document. Oh, I guess that was a gear lever. G for gear lever. Lol. Wing engine scan light. No. Wing. Over wing. Following. I mean, the search does work, but over wing, following. No. So it's not. Unfortunately, not. No, it's not in there. Yeah, so I think that's also a reason why, you know, you have these TAT probes aspirated on the ground, right? So that you have an airflow through those sensors, so that they do measure the outside temperature more accurately. What is your MHD in percent? Okay, so I mean, you have a scale here, okay? So here's a scale. So outside is the percentage scale. And inside you have your trim setting scale. All right, so if you get a value on your load sheet, right? So here's the load sheet that we got, and you get a takeoff, or actually takeoff CG, max takeoff CG, or MAC, not max, MAC takeoff 25.2. All right, you can look here, 25.2 is about here. So that's roughly up 0.8. All right, and again, you get the MAC through your load sheet, or if you have a mass and balance page, whatever aircraft you're using, you will get that here as well. At least a zero fuel weight CG you get here. It's a shame there's no information about Vagar whatsoever. So unfortunately, I'm gonna just get the weather here. So we're gonna get Vagar, and we're gonna get Bergen for the alternate. Let's check those weathers, and then let's prepare for the approach. Vagar, no wind right now, few 2,500, 3 degrees, 1040, no cloud. And the wind on that mountain skeet is also no. That's really strange. I don't know how often per year you have absolutely no wind in Vagar. That is, I've never seen that. Also on the hill, so on that mountain, also absolutely no wind. Really, really strange. Not seen that. Oh, the climb gradient. Okay, I'll tell you that here. So it depends on what aircraft you're using, if the aircraft performance calculator actually spits out that climb gradient. Here the FSLabs does that. So I will show that here in a second. So if you go to your landing calculator here, here's your go around climb gradient. So the two-engine aircraft will always have a limit regarding go around climb gradient. So that is single engine with go around flaps and gear being up. right? That's always the most restrictive on two-engine aircraft, a jet aircraft at least. So if you calculate your performance and it gives you 5.8, and then you look at your minimums. So today, as we want to fly the ILS, was it Victor Zulu? I think it was Zulu, wasn't it? Yeah, the Zulu approach. So here, if you want to use that minimum approach climb gradient, MACG, minimum approach climb gradient, minimum 5%. So if you can achieve that, right, then you can take the lower value on the minimums. So today we can do that. So we can take 680 feet for the minimums. Barrow 680. Right. So how many miles away are we? Oh, we're way high. Christ. Oh no, he's going around. Ay. Okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's do the following. Let's enter the hold at Mike Yankee, and then we're gonna analyze the situation. So we want to have 109 right turns. So just to get ourselves orientated, okay, and let's go down to descent level 100. Transition is about 8.5, I think. Then we can have a look at the TCAS. I'm going to put TCAS to below. And then we can see how we can get ourselves sequenced. Because I just heard on the frequency that we had someone going around. And right, I'm going to slow down here as well for the holding. Speed brakes out. Vagar traffic. Windmill 711 is joining the holding over at Mike Yankee, descending level 100 in Vagar. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 aircraft on the ramp. There's 1 Eurowings in the arrival. But apart from that, it seems to be okay. Not too bad. All right, let's have the landing lights on, seatbelts on. Medium. That is all set. RatNav. Let's put Mike Yankee in here. 337 ADF. And then the ILS should have a DME. Yeah, Mike Foxtrot. Although, maybe not. Yeah, ILS DME, so it should have a DME value. The minimum separation should be 1,000 feet, Nicolas. In the holding, at least 1,000 feet.
And for that traffic, the 386 Papa joining the hold over at Magni. At 4,800 feet, we'll try to get down to 2,000 where we last in sequence.
Okay, thanks for the info. Then I'll be sequencing in behind you, windmill 712, currently out of 185, descending 100 initially.
Windmill 712, if you want to, you can just go up in front of us. We need a bit of time.
Okay, that is copied. Thank you. Then I'll just make an orbit and we'll continue on the arrival. Thank you.
I believe you're already in front of us.
Okay, because I only heard 1 aircraft that went around, and I have 1 TCAS at 10,000 feet, looks like.
That's not me.
Yeah. Okay, now it's so. No, I've got to stay behind them. Okay, so my suggestion would be that we sequence according to the altitudes. So the aircraft that joining Magni holding, so the lowest one will go first, and then so on. Windmill 712.
Windmill 712, you will also hold over Magni?
Yeah, correct. Over at Magni holding right now, out of 150, descending level 100 initially.
Alright, you were in front of me, I'm holding over Magni at flight level 80, so you know you're first.
Okay, we've got another traffic coming in behind you. I think it's currently at the same level, so not sure who that is. But yeah, initially I'll descend 100, and then we'll see who can go first.
Yep, this is Command Park Yankee holding at Mike Yankee at 500.
Okay. ANS 777. Well, I mean, I enjoy the FSLabs because it does offer a few more things here with the tech logbook and the technical state, which is persistent. Certain things with wear and tear, and yeah, it's just one of those things that fascinates me. But I think 321 from Phoenix and FSLabs are, you know, very, very close together in terms of quality, etc. So. So, okay, Windmill 712 is descending 90 in the Mike Yankee holding. Wow, lots of aircraft. There's so many.
Caroline Foto Romeo will descend to 6,000 feet, so you can also continue your descent.
Okay, Caroline, that's copied. So you want to go first?
I can go first, but if you want, because you're above me, I think you cannot overtake me in the holding. So you can also, with 1,000 feet above me, go and choose the approach.
Okay, so if you're happy with it, then I'll continue now with the approach inbound to Mike Yankee now, maintaining 90 until we leave Mike Yankee, and then we'll start the approach now. Windmill 712.
Roger.
Okay, so we'll do that. Here we got DME now as well, Mike Foxtrot, fantastic.
Scandinavian 251, we're joining the holding at Magni at flight level 150, and we're descending for flight level 100 initially.
So speed brakes in, we got speed, vertical speed. Yeah, I mean, Vagar does have an offset approach for the runway 12, that's correct. Quite challenging. And I think for the other runway, it's also offset, right? It has offset here as well. 302 inbound course, while the runway has a track of 302. So that's also... No, hang on, disregard. No, it looked offset. It's not. So 302. Disregard everything I said. So yeah, maybe then, you know, in calm winds for sure, 30 would definitely be more preferred, but especially since it's a full ILS approach. Right, immediate exit. So the aircraft should exit now the holding. There's one aircraft also in the approach. Now, I'm doing a standard approach.
Caroline 42 Romeo 4, Ice Air 362.
So I'm going to fly...
over the go-round, so if you want you can also go after the windmill.
Wir haben ganz gut Fuel dabei, also if you want to, you can go in front of us, depending on how urgent you can get, you have to get in.
Okay, alles klar, dann gehe ich dann danach, das passt glaube ich vom Holding gerade. Jo.
Yeah, so since...
Traffic, speedbird 242 series starting up, stand 3.
So since there's no ATC here, right?
Just to make sure the aircraft leaving the route now is with the 807.
Negative, it's Caroline 42 Romeo.
Roger.
So we can go down to 80. So descend out blue 80. Although let me already set the altimeter here 1040, and then
On Vagar traffic, the Alpha 362 Papa will be leaving the route over at Mike Yankee after the 42 Romeo.
oh, look at that!
Scandinavian 251 will be leaving the hold behind the IZ-C6 to Papa.
Caroline 42 Romeo is now leaving the hold direct for Victor Golf 999.
Nice. Windmill 712 is approaching Victor Golf Beacon for the standard approach ILS 30 in Vagar. We have the traffic 10 miles ahead of us on TCAS. We will separate accordingly.
Switch 807 head peak 140 for sequence.
So outbound will descend 4,000. I think we can dial in 4,000 now. We have 15 miles, which is fine. So now go thrust, idle, open descend. And I don't know exactly where that other traffic is. Oh, there he is. He's coming opposite, isn't he? Yeah. That looks. That is definitely worth a screenshot. There we go. Wow. Let me do one more here. Beautiful. Hey, Sim Caesar. How are you doing? Big shout out, guys. If you don't know Sim Caesar, check out his channel on Twitch. Sim Caesar. Nice to see you. Right, I don't know what the other traffic below me is doing. Maybe it's a helicopter or something. I don't know. Or he's in the approach. Could be. But he's a bit offset for that, isn't he? Right, here comes flaps 1. Speed is checked. Flaps 1. Mode degradation. Heading. Oh. Ay. Why are they going heading? I think it's got a bit confused there. Oh, in-up system, data flight record or something. All right, disregard that. Not that important. So that should be 147. There we go. Now we're back on NAV mode. Adiola, hello to you. No, Aviamar, that is actually from, it's called, so from SimFX. It's from Parallel 42, SimFX. I think Microsoft 2024 has that by default, correct? So we're turning at 13 miles from the ILS.
Back 2420 is taxiing to hold on point runway 30, Vagar traffic.
So 13 miles, we'll turn back inbound. Now I'm going to put, I don't like the drawing of that, so let me just put that to heading, and then I'm going to take extended center line. I'm going to take that, oops, direct to that. And opposite is going to be 122 is correct.
Speedbird 2420 is backtracking runway 30, Vagar traffic.
So there we go. So we're just going to try to track the bearing 147 outbound until 13 miles, 3 more miles to go. 1,000 feet per minute. So we descend 4,000 and then we descend on the ILS glide slope at 4,000, 10.1 miles.
Because the windmill is going for the ILS, so for separation, sorry.
Well, I use SimFX for different things.
People actually talked on Unicom really when we're
so the SimFX for me really is more about the aircraft effects, not so much the environmental effects. But this is nice, I'm not going to lie. Right, 13 miles coming up. Going to start turning inbound to intercept the ILS. Vagar traffic, windmill 712 is at 13 DMEs, turning inbound for the ILS 30 in Vagar. But as far as I know, it does take real-world data for the Aurora. So, yes, so that's a different program. That comes from SimFX.
We got traffic for speedbird 2420 taken up from A320.
So environment, it does have the Auroras. And it takes that from the live map there. Right, let's arm the localizer. Lock armed. Well, that looks nice. Beautiful. So the speedbird should be no factor for us. And guys, this landing will be a bit harder. Okay, so we're not gonna float around too much, and there's a traffic behind me. I don't know why. Where did he come from?
Vagar traffic, Condor 1111, joining the published ILS beacon host and descending to level -level. There are no restrictions from you guys. Not a good thing. Down and port. At 36 Papa.
Vagar traffic, windmill 712 is on final, runway 30 at 12 DMEs in Vagar.
So you got traffic, speedbird 242 at 2,100 inbound by...
I've never heard him. Where is he from?
Vagar traffic, airline...
It's a Wizz Air 807. I've never heard a Wizz Air call in, did you?
Aircraft on the ILS, and after that going for the RMP uniform approach.
Right, flaps 2. Speed is managed. So we have glide slope armed, catch redual, autopilot 1+2. And climb 3,700. Glide slope start. Missed approach. Was that the Wizz Air calling in behind the windmill 712?
That's him.
Yeah, maybe you should do a right-hand orbit to get separation.
I'm trying to slow him down. I'm trying.
Yeah, but I have to do a little bit backtrack as well, probably. So I would suggest a 360. Flaps 3, speed is checked, flaps 3. And flaps 4, speed is checked, flaps 4. No, James, behind me, that's the Wizz Air. I just checked on VATSky, or VATSpy. Man, look at all the traffic. Crazy. Yeah, so he's doing a 360, which is a good idea.
2,500. Scandinavia 251, we're completing our right orbit. And
so I'm going to have to backtrack.
Behind.
Probably. We'll see. Maybe we can make that taxiway.
Yeah, it's 36.
Keep my fingers crossed.
Yes, and just for information, we'll make a right orbit we're clear of the traffic.
So manual thrust.
Okay, Roger, I said 6 Papa, just advise me when you are inbound course for your next wave.
Manual flight.
2000.
Okay, Roger. I'll just advise you will be, for information, will be then going direct 999.
Roger.
Vagar traffic. Wind was 712, 4 miles final, 30 in Vagar.
Vagar traffic, 36 Super Mike, we'll do the right
Landing checklist, EKVG, landing no good.
Our position.
Descent checklist. Approach checklist was checked as well.
A bit misleading because we're outbound as well. Has anyone got any objections for 4,000 feet on the Mighty Beacon?
It's getting a little bit low. Let's correct that.
In this case, the Condor 1111 is descending on the published Mighty Beacon hold down to 4,000 feet.
Line for Romeo now on the Alps, uniform approach for runway 30.
If I remember correctly, there was an upslope, wasn't there, on that runway?
5 Yankee and there's 877.
Runway's inside.
Minimum.
Continue.
Again, just for the both of you, once for the Romeo is here, I would recommend for you to do the ILS approach, and then I would go into the RP uniform behind you.
Okay, copy that.
300. 200. 150. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 5. Pitch.
Didn't expect that hard. Right, we got spoilers, reverser screen. Oh, that was a huge upslope as well. I did pull, that's why I called pitch because the rate was so fast. But that I did not expect that upslope. Oh my god. Right, manual brakes. At least we can make this taxiway. Yeah, and I should have briefed the fact that you only have 30-meter right runway. So that is normal. That's but that also gives you optical illusion that you are high in the approach. Vagar traffic 11712, runway 30 is vacated. Is it already safe to buy 2024? I mean, what do you mean with safe? Personally, I own it, but I've only been really flying it with the Phoenix and some GA aircraft.
105. 2 Yankee doing a left orbit for
So what parker spot 3 sounds good?
Coming around, we were way too high.
Hey. Let's do 3. Let's have a look.
GG.
I'll be a joke.
Yeah, that is too high, definitely. You have VRAM issues in 2024? Yeah, it is. So I've just...
Vagar traffic, just for coordination, Condor 1111, would you like to shoot the cloud brake procedure out of the Mike Yankee NTB? And has reached 3,700 feet. Any objection?
Right, so here's the... There's the marshaller, so I think we're supposed to go here.
Condor 1111, second what procedure?
On the Navigraph chart, it's basically the NB Bravo to runway 30, but it's a cloud brake procedure, so basically a full visual approach out of the beacon.
So I'm going to go here, and then once I get the signal to go right, we'll go right. Let's slow down a bit. There we go, now we go.
Otherwise, I with us now turn fine and behind the both colliding aircraft on the final approach. Use 362 cover.
Yes, we can do that. I will reduce to final approach speed.
That is good enough. We have the APU on, lead air on, dome light on. And we'll shut down the engines.
Just to be sure, the Scandinavian 251, we are still behind.
Cabin all doors in park.
T-cars
TCAS off. Fuel pumps off.
Currently on final aircraft as number.
I'll get to the questions in a second. Hang on. Right, there we go. And then we will read the shutdown checklist. Although, let me switch that off as well. So radar PWS is off, and then we have the parking checklist. Parking brakes or trucks. Parking brake is set. Engines off, and the fuel pumps are off, and that's the parking checklist completed.
Airline 40 Romeo entering the holdover Magni at 5,000 feet.
Hey, unknown. Thank you so much for the 127 donation. That's really kind of you. Thank you so much. Yeah, so Drewster, I've heard the same from other people that were saying they have huge VRAM issues in 2024.
Until we are clear of the Condor 5.
So it's not optimized yet, it seems. So let's have a look.
The Scandinavian 251 will follow your next ride over again.
Right, let's request the boarding. Yeah, so my landing rate was, oh, it didn't register, isn't that weird? Oh, it did, 351, minus 351, ouch. Oh. Well, that's going to ruin my statistics, isn't it? So up to now, it was pretty good. Oh, that's going to really hurt. But I mean, at least we expected it to some extent.
Traffic, just to be sure, Condor 1111, we are joining the visual segment now, and would strongly dislike to fly orbit.
Maybe it's in text, you can edit it somewhere.
Nice if we could resume always this
I will check. I will check.
On the 211, the problem is there are 2 aircraft on the final approach for the ILS, and I have to be behind them to do the visual approach on my side. So would you be able to just delay, just do 1 circuit, and then I'll do 1 circuit, and then you could get behind me in sequence?
Passengers to boarding sign.
Yes, sure. That's basically what the missed approach is. It's just flying in circles, so yeah, it will be legal. Condor 1111.
Busy airport, busy. Vagar, busy airport today, yeah. But nice. I liked how, yeah, a lot of people are communicating nicely, so, you know, you can get separations. It's just the Wizz Air called in. Either I didn't hear him or he didn't call in at all. Right, there we go. Now we've got the doors open. Oh, and they're walking to the terminal. Let's have a look here. So they're not going by bus. So make sure you walk outside the cone, please. Thank you. Very nice. Pro passengers here. Oh, beacon. Yeah, you're right. Why is the beacon on? My co-pilot is sleeping. Test. And they're, yeah, disregarding seatbelt signs again, as always. Oh, no, here we go. It just looked a bit... Now you can see the slope. He just disappeared from view. That's how steep the... excuse me. That's how steep the slope is. The thing is, and I thought about it at some point, but I should have briefed it again to get my mind set correctly. So a 30-meter wide runway obviously does cause a optical illusion that you're high in the approach, and it actually did catch me out a bit.
07 backtrack X30.
Just go have a look, see if I can get that to daylight. So...
On the 111, if you want to, you can do the setting now.
So it does look really weird, right?
111 is
look at the
flying the missed approach procedures, basically turning towards you with the limiting.
So you would think, you know, this altitude, well, you know, I'm normal, but this is like only 50 feet, right? So...
5 Yankees on a 3-mile final.
And you can't turn your aircraft on this very short on this runway with such a low width.
Scandinavian 251.
So here you have to use the end turn pads, and that does cause delays, obviously. So if I hadn't made that turn off, I would have had to go all the way back here, turn around, and then taxi back to vacate. And that does take a lot of time. But that traffic really did a good job in separating. So well done. But those that looked like also like a surprise. I wonder how many people get caught out by the fact that it's only 30 meters wide. That's a Condor. You should, I don't know how often you're faced with 30-meter wide runway, but here in Vagar, that's definitely an issue. So you prime yourself to not float for too long, and then you come down, and you look at the PAR piece, you're like, hang on, why is it like 3 red, 1 white? It doesn't look like...
Vagar traffic, runway 30 vacated.
And the markings are a bit off as well. So you're like, hang on, you know. I'll just show you that here when I'm on path. Look, right. That here is on path. Would you believe it? That looks high, doesn't it? If I see that kind of picture and my eye tells me, yeah, we're high. Yeah, that does look high, doesn't it? But that's because it's only a 30-meter wide runway. And that's a big optical illusion. So the risk is, of course, if you think you're high, you're going to brake later, correct? So with this constellation, you have an issue with flaring too late, i.e. hard landings is an issue here.
So Vagar traffic, ICR 1, correction, ICR 362 Papa, on the base turn runway.
And the other way around, you have some runways that are actually 60 meters wide. So twice as wide as you have here. So 60 meters wide, at the same position, you would think you're low. And that leads to an early flare. So flaring too high over the runway. And so that's something you should brief. So you should make sure you check that on the approach charts, and you should include that into your briefing, approach briefing. Because that is a threat, right? Threat of flaring late. How do you mitigate that threat? Be aware, look at the PAR piece, be aware, the picture's gonna look off, and listen to the GBWS callouts. So the altitude callouts. And that way you could prime yourself and get ready. Nice, someone else coming in.
Vagar traffic, Scandinavian 251 returning phase, runway 30.
Yeah, just out of fairness, I will watch the other landings, of course. Because I did fly along today, so make sure we watch their landings. There is coming inbound. James, so when you do a smooth landing IRL, do you look for your FO and say, did you see me? No, no, James. No. So whenever my FO makes a good landing, I will say so.
Is now turning towards our missed approach point for the NDB procedure out of my kinky beacon. Estimating,
and quite regularly, when I grease the landing, then my first officer usually also say nice landing. It's just something we acknowledge. If it's a hard landing, there's usually a bit of silence in the flight deck. And then normally you would wait for the pilot flying to break that silence. Oh, that's a visual approach. Wow, GG's. I'm impressed. Well done. GG. Wow, no, nice. And it looked like a good landing. Here's a pro. GG's. Good approach. That was a nice approach.
Thank you.
Yeah, so sometimes when it's a really hard landing, it's sometimes a bit awkward. There is an awkward silence afterwards. And then, you know, if me as a captain, if I say something wrong, oh, that could really put a chip in the ego of my first officer, right? So I've got to be careful with that. Right, so,
lavatory service has been requested.
Has it? Who's requested lavatory service? Yeah, so, you know, I would wait usually for the first officer to break the silence, and then I would say, oh, it wasn't that bad. Even if it was bad, I would say, oh, it wasn't that bad. Or I would say, I've seen worse. Or I've done worse. Right? Make him feel good, so. Good captain, yeah. Voyager, yeah, back then it was that was a training flight, wasn't it? So the first officer was being on training, and yeah, that would have been something to talk about after the flight for sure. As Sim Caesar says, whenever you're flying with a CFI and they land a plane, I always say, I've seen better. And how does that go down with the CFIs, Sim Caesar? I mean, it's a show of character, isn't it? So, also, very nice approach. Look at that. Yeah, nice. GG's. Let's say instructor. So a flight instructor. Is it commercial flight instructor? CFI? Yeah, but that's instructor. It usually means more flights before they sign off your logbook. Certified, a certified flight instructor. There we go. Not commercial. Certified flight instructor. Thanks, Caesar.
Vagar traffic. In this case, I think I am number 1. Condor 1111 is turning base visual of pre-scarp traffic for Vagar 1. Vagar runway 30, of course.
That's a beautiful add-on as well here, Vagar Airport. Very nice. Love it. And Nicolas says he always managed to land within 300 feet per minute. Well, you're very good then. I don't, as you can see. A job which is suited to our captain. You mean me? Are you sure about that? Well, you can ask Mark. Ask Lindley. What he thinks. Oh, you mean harder than 300 feet per minute? Oh, okay. Okay, Niklas. No worries. Practice. Just practice. No, I meant the shouting, Mark. When we do shared flights. Oh, that. Yeah, you probably forgot about that, right? Yep. Yeah, you forgot about that already. Very nice. And there's one more traffic coming in here. Let's have a look at this landing. Condor as well. It could be Hannes. Looking good, looking good. Some slight corrections there. Very nice. And coming into the flare. Oh. Yeah, look. Oh, he went around. Did he go around? He bounced. Ooh, he's going around. Yeah.
I got traffic. Condor 111 is going around from the
Yeah, good call, good call. That was a good call. Yeah, so the pitch call out you heard. So the pitch call out is a call out in the A320 that tells you, careful, you're getting into the region where you could get a tail strike. So especially on the 321s, where's the limit usually of 7.5 degrees for the pitch. So 7.5 degrees, you would do a call out. 7.5 degrees does not mean you're going to hit the ground just yet. I think the tail strike happens at around 9 point something degrees on a 321. The thing is with the pitch call out is that it takes into account the rate of change of the pitch. So if you pull hard on the stick and pitch up the nose quickly, it will think that at some time, so a split second later, you may go into tail strike. So you would you get the call out pitch. So even if you're like at maybe 7 degrees and you don't have a pitch tail strike risk, just as you stop pitching up, but because of that rate of pitch change, you may get that pitch call out. Hannes, you were okay. So Hannes was the Scandi. Okay, good landing, Hannes. Sorry. Yeah, just want to set the record straight, so that we don't get mixed up here. Very nice. So Super Bowl. Okay, guys, who's going to win today? Super Bowl. Who should I bet on? I don't know any of these teams, to be honest. Birds. The red ones. That's cool. The red ones. Yeah, I'll be the red. Well, yeah, they are red ones. The birds, isn't it? Hang on. So it's going to be the who's playing? I have no idea who's playing, to be honest. Both teams are despicable. Really? Okay. So it's the Kansas City Chiefs against the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think is it the Kansas City? Who's the red team? Kansas? What Super Bowl? It's a Super Salad Bowl. Whoever eats it first wins. Boston, yeah, that's true. I like Boston as well. All right, so Kansas City Chiefs and against the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, I don't know any of these teams, so hopefully the better will win, and hopefully it's going to be an interesting match to watch today. Last year was fantastic. I really watched that. Nice landing as well here from the Faro line. GG's. So the KC Chiefs are trying to make history by being the first team to win 3 Super Bowls early. So they won last year. You see, I don't even remember that they won the last year.
Vagar traffic, runway 30 vacated.
I know that it was a really, really fascinating game, really right up to the last minute. So okay, so KC Chiefs. Here we go. All right. Keeping fingers crossed then. Very nice. Red is always the answer. Right, the Condor that just went around. Here he is. I think he's coming around there. So we'll just wait for his landing here. And again, I think a lot of hard landings happen because of that optical illusion. I'm sure that's catching a lot of people out.
Vagar traffic, Condor 1111 is on short final visual approach on V30, Vagar.
There we go. Visual approach, GG's. Very nice. I would assume they have daytime, because nighttime visual could be quite a challenge. Yeah, so, I mean, that runway 30 really asks for disaster. It's a huge uphill slope combined with 30 meter wide runway. Look better. So that's just an altitude problem there, but that looked better, yeah. GG's. Safely on the ground. Big round of applause, everyone, guys. Thanks so much for joining. And hats off. That was really nicely coordinated between all the flights. So that was really nice to see. Very, very well done. And as always, this approach is definitely a challenge.
And Vagar traffic, Condor 1111, runway 30 vacated.
So whoever looks for some adventures, some challenges, this airport definitely offers that. Right, guys, thank you so much for all the support. As always, thanks for the resubs and new members, and also Lewis Daniel. Once again, thank you for the 5 gifted, and thank you to the unknown gifter on YouTube for the €1.27 donation. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you if you're German language capable, then maybe on Wednesday. Otherwise, the next English stream is on Friday. So we'll see. And then we're getting prepared for it's a bit early for end of February, right? It's not, no, okay, disregard. I'm not going to say that. So, Nate, you need to learn German until Wednesday. Yeah, I agree. Okay, guys. My moderators, thank you so much. Thank you for all the help. Much, 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 much appreciated. And yeah, stay well and enjoy the Super Bowl if you're into that. And stay well, stay safe. And I will see you again very soon. For sure. Alex, thank you. Good night, guys. Take care.